Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Today we're going to be talking about diet mindset. I've just been looking for a spot to record here because it's getting increasingly difficult during school hours because now the kids are back in school. And I love kids, but kids also love ruining my videos, and it's happened many times before. So I ended up here in the same spot I was in on this morning's stream. And something else I did this morning was ask you guys in a poll, what would you like to see more about or my content? Because as you have seen lately, I am working my ass off here to grow the channel and to help you guys even more. And I'm trying to get you involved here. It's a difficult fucking job, let me tell you. You know, there are a few. You know, I'm not seeing you guys that actually contribute, but so many of you guys, you're fucking lazy pieces of shit that just want to sit there and be like, treat Theo like the ATM. I take out the info. No, even when presented with a chance to have some input and actually influence the content, I don't, because I'm just a consumer. I'm never a part of anything. Most of you are like that. And if you got triggered by what I said now, that proves that I'm right. Because if you just think I'm wrong, you know I'm wrong. You know, you're not gonna get emotional about it. That's the way I am right now. I'm not actually annoyed with you guys. Like, I know exactly why you're doing like this. You're lazy. You're afraid of expressing yourself and all that, you know. So I'm just coach angry and annoyed with you. I'm trying to coach you into getting more involved. But so I want to show you how much, almost every time someone suggests a video for me, if it's not completely out of my realm or something, I will do the video almost instantly to prove to you guys, look, when you give Theo, he gives back immediately. So one guy, he commented diet mindset, and then we continued talking, and from the way he expresses himself, I guess he just meant that diet and mindset was what he'd like to hear more about the most, but I thought it was a pretty damn good video title, Diet Mindset. So here we go. This is the Diet Mindset video. And look, guys, I want to do the solar night diet too. You know, the diet is just one of the many things in the life process, the carrot method that we're applying here. You can go to that video too, but it's a big one for a lot of people, of course. So we're gonna, even the solar night diet, but I'll get the other stuff around the diet that feeds into the diet from the process in that video. But I'm not gonna make that one unless at least 5 people say in the comments that I like to see the solar night diet video. You gotta do that, or else you're not fucking getting the video. Do you understand? So, okay, what I want to do with this video, Diet Mindset, is kind of explain the mindset and process you have to go through to end up as like a person like me, like not necessarily, or you know, that you're gonna take it as far and be as extreme as I am, but you know, in this direction, more in this direction, that even if you don't have quite as ambitious fitness goals, you'll just be a person that stays healthy and quite fit without not really, you know, you don't really have to think about it all that much. You don't have to try to avoid the junk foods, or you literally now don't crave it or need it at all. I'm gonna explain what that kind of process looks like. So, first of all, what needs to happen with the diet mindset, you need to change the mindset about the diet, because the problem people have today is that they view food mainly as a treat, something that makes them feel good. Oh, it tastes nice. Oh, it tastes so good. It tastes so good. You know, this was when I went to the, you know, it's a super annoying thing to have to deal with people anyway, or always, but when I went to the PT education, when I told them about the fasting that I, you know, never bring up myself, I always get asked about, and they're like, but why? Yeah, food is life. And I'm like, this is a fat girl saying that. First of all, like, what is she doing there in the PT education? You know, she was nice, but no, just stating the fact. What is she doing there? But, you know, I'm just thinking to myself there, because I am actually quite kind face to face with people, just thinking to myself there, if food is life, then why are you eating a bunch of stuff that's killing you? I agree that food is life, and that's why I eat to fuel my biological vehicle, not just because I don't eat what I want, I eat what I need. So you gotta understand, if you're a person now that puts a lot of emphasis on, I need to treat myself, I need to taste good, I just love those tastes, you're a child. Children care about what they want, and it tastes nice, you know, yummy, you know. And adults, men and women, they eat to fuel their biological vehicle. They don't only eat what they want, they eat what they need. So this is what you gotta, you know, untangle yourself from. It's not supposed to be this. It's a very unnatural state of being to, you know, it's a complete luxury to live under a circumstance that you can actually even see it that way. You know, people starve still, you know, and you that have access to eating the food, any food you'd like, you go fucking killing yourself with junk food. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, you know? You need to be moving away from this, okay? So, next step, when you realize that, oh shit, I am a fucking food addict, I am a degenerate, I eat for pleasure, not even, like, I know this shit is killing me, it's making me fat, unhappy, it affects, yeah, every aspect of my being, and still I'm doing it, yes, you're right, Theo, I need to be moving away from that and start thinking of food more as actually building blocks and fuel for my one biological vehicle that I've been given in this life. That people can be so fucking about their stuff, their car, their home, or, oh, don't sit in my bed with your dirty clothes, and then they will go eat fucking McDonald's and drink a bunch of soda and, how does that even work, But okay, next step. Now that you know that, okay, I need to be moving away from the way I'm currently eating and viewing food. I need to gradually change my mindset there. You need to learn about diet now, and you can learn from many different people. I mean, I'm going to put out more diet content, but I always recommend that you go watching Stan Efferding that came up with a vertical diet, his videos. It's not necessarily that you have to follow the vertical diet to a T, but his information is great. This vertical diet is tailored. It's supposed to optimize health and performance through eliminating foods that irritate your gut is a big focus there. And so the foundation of the diet, the macros, is made up of white rice and red meat. And look, if you're more into the keto, it's different. It's individual, this also. Not only what you want to or think you should do, but actually our bodies, we respond a bit differently to carbs. So you could always just remove the rice or replace it with some potatoes or just less carbs, do your version of the vertical diet. But I love it. It's like, the red meat for the healthy animal protein and healthy saturated fats, plus a bunch of micronutrients in the red meat, lots of B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, heme iron, creatine even, etc. So this is the foundation where you get most of your calories. And then there's the, carefully selected fruits and vegetables more to address micronutrient needs, like carrots, and we have the Greek yogurt, we have almonds, we have orange juice, we have some berries, some peppers, some stuff like this. But you have to learn more about the diet. But what I'll say right now, if you eat whole foods, eat as little processed food as possible, that's a pretty damn good rule. But you need, of course, when you're going to change your diet now, you need to have some ideas. And I would really recommend Stan Efferding, very knowledgeable guy, very entertaining to listen to. And so I just like that even if you're going to do something very different in the end, the way of how you think about, okay, here are my macros, here is where I get the majority of my calories, and here are the things I want to have around that to address my micronutrient needs. So the next step is counting calories. That I don't do that for myself anymore. But when this is the mindset. I want to take you through the journey so that you end up somewhere closer to where I'm at with all of this right now. And counting calories is just, you can lose or gain weight, whether, depending on what your goal is, without counting calories. But having done that for a while, it teaches you, because you're going to have to look at all the foods and you're going to learn, oh, this food was more calories than I thought. Oh, I didn't know. And I just eat a bunch of this. Or, this food that I really like, it isn't all that high calorie. Nice. That I can, use on when I'm cutting weight, you see. And when you create this new diet, the diet you come up with and follow it, and you see what happens with your body if you gain or lose weight, you're just going to, eventually, you're not going to have to count calories, because calories is just a unit. It's amount of food that matters, right? And when you cycle through the same kinds of meals you're eating, and all that, you're just gonna know, like, but if I eat 5 potatoes and this piece of meat, that's my maintenance or whatever, and then when you bulk or cut, it's like, I'll add some more carbs, or I remove some potatoes. So you see, you can think of the amount of food without thinking calories in the end, but it's a helpful way to start, to just get you there. That's why I always have clients do that at first. It's kind of Mr. Miyagi thing, force them to do it, and all of a sudden they realize, hey, I don't really have to anymore. And then you gotta set a structure. So what I mean by this is, most people's diets, they are just, they just end up being whatever they end up being. They don't really have a plan. And so they will have some kind of structure. They're like, oh yeah, when I don't have the time, I order Uber Eats, or sometimes I bring the leftovers to work in my little blah blah, whatever, you're gonna have something, but you're gonna change it. You want to become a lot better with this. You gotta set some kind of structure that is your goal is. And I'll tell you, for instance, how I do it. Because I work with semi-structures a lot. It's like goals, people think sometimes that you need to be super rigid, count everything to a T, and do it exactly the same way, always, But that's not really the point. It's just that when you don't know anything of this, you're not in touch with it at all, you have to have something to shoot for. And then, if you just end up close enough to it most of the time, that's going to be fine. It's the same with everything, by the way, training, everything. But so, for instance, a structure that I kind of follow right now is that I have an 8-hour eating window. I drink. That's what I'm gonna go into more the things outside of this 8-hour eating window on my solar night video, diet video, that I will only make if you tell me that you want to see that in the comments. But so in the 8-hour window, what I want to do is eat 3 meals spaced out 4 hours apart. So I space them out as much as possible within the 8 hours. And a lot of the time that happens because I, of course, control my time. I'm self-employed, I can very often. If I don't have particular work on that day, client calls or anything, I can pretty much choose most of the time. And so I will often eat my first meal at 11. And then at 3, I'll eat my second meal, and then at 7, I eat my last meal, and boom, I'm done for the day. But sometimes, I couldn't eat breakfast. I'm not going to be able to later, so I'm actually extending my window. I have the breakfast a little earlier. Or the opposite. I don't really have time to eat now, but I have a rest day today, so it doesn't really, it's not that important. I'll put it up to later. Or sometimes, I'm not gonna be able to cook thrice. I instead eat twice, and I just spread it out to 5-6 hours apart instead. And you see, I end up close enough to my structure all the time. And so this is for you. For you, it's going to be more if you're getting into this, that you fail on your structure a lot. But you still have that, try to be as close to it as possible. I don't fail on it. I have to adjust. But, I see, sometimes a treat, your job showed up, you just take it like that. But yeah. This leads me into the next point, that is, accept not being perfect, because this is what people do a lot. They're gonna start it now. Yeah, they go from drinking every weekend and eating junk food several times per week to none of that, and hit the gym every day, and it can be, you can feel motivated for a while and do that for a while, but you're gonna burn out so very often. I'm almost never seen anyone that did it that way. I know my one friend did it with specifically the gym, that he just started going every day, but he didn't really know what he was doing. But he trains less often now. But yeah, that's the only person I can come up with that went with something so extreme and actually stuck to it. So again, accept not being perfect. It's the structure I talked about. You have to accept that you're not perfect, even, because I am kind of perfect. Like, I never do a mistake that, oh shit, I slipped up and did this. It's just adjustment meant, but that's not how it was at the start for me at all. I did fail quite. I did eat something I wasn't supposed to and all that. But accept that and don't let it escalate. That's the whole thing. That's what people do all the time too. They had some bullshit and now it's like, oh, I ruined it. I failed. I might as well just... And not even on the day always. Even if they've been perfect for a month and they failed once, it's like, yeah, no, everything is ruined. I'll order any junk food the next day too. Let's go out and get wasted in the weekend. No gym anymore. And this is the dumb thing. You have to accept it. No one, when they go through a process of change and do difficult stuff, new stuff for you, no one is ever perfect. No one. So you have to accept that, and that way you're not going to be... It's with any addiction, by the way. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to view it as someone you love, that they're going through it. Don't judge so harshly. You're dealing with something now, and that is, funnily enough, what's going to allow you to relax a bit. Like, say you slipped up and you had a beer, like, fucking, now look at me, I'm ordering another one, but after this one I'm fucking done. And if you did that, had 2 beers, that's 500 calories, and of course beers, it's one of the worst things you can have. But basically nothing, if it's the odd thing, is a big deal. So if you instead had 2 beers, like 500 calories, and you make it up, well, I walk home from the bar or something, nothing really happened. But if you instead was, look at me, I'm already there, let's just drink 10 beers, all of a sudden you're you're up to like 2,500 calories instead, so you doubled your intake on that day, and then you probably go on with it. You see you have to accept not being perfect, and then do, I put this at the bottom, but I add this here too, micro optimize gradually. You try to do slightly better choices here and there all the time. And around this, by the way, except not being perfect, it's again, say things like having treats that have zero calorie sweeteners in them. So, they taste pretty much like junk food. They probably even are, but there's less calories. And you want to lose weight, and get rid of sugar addiction. Like, yes, we can, in the theory, you can say, like, yeah, it would be better if you could be without any of that at all. But if you can't, then this is a necessary step towards this ideal scenario, right? And this is how I did it a lot. I realized when I was actually doing low carb when I started losing weight very early on in my own 4-year fitness journey. And to be able to stick to it, I had to do some like keto, sweetened, artificially sweetened chocolate balls and stuff, and have every now and then. And gradually I had it less and less, and all of a sudden I didn't need it. So, that's also a thing with being perfect. That if you do something that's better than what you used to do, but you can see that you could theoretically do something even better, well, don't care about that. You're already better. And then you take the little next step here, a little next step here, and then all of a sudden, if you allow it to play out that way, patience. And so the one thing I put here, lift weights, bodybuild. And something people don't understand with that bodybuild, people think of, I don't know, a guy like me, but mainly, the big spray tanned, roided up guys standing on the stage. But bodybuild, everyone is a bodybuilder, whether you like it or not. The body you currently have, you built through the way you live your life. So, if you are a little fat piece of shit or a skinny fat dude, congratulations, you're a bodybuilder. This is the body you built. But, when if you get into it and get interest, you like becoming better at this, it's gonna help. It brings a lot of motivation to stay on point with a diet. I know that when I struggled more, especially with cutting, some people even, some guys struggle with putting on weight, and girls, I guess, but that was never my issue. It's actually now when my energy expenditure is so high, I have to eat so fucking much. But anyway, when I struggled with hunger, I had that like, but I want to see how fucking ripped. I built a bit of muscle. I want to see what it looks like, And so I had that, higher value that trumped my in the moment feeling of it would be nice to eat some bullshit kind of thing, or have some alcohol or something like that, So, bodybuild, start getting into it. It's, both, it's more fun. Also, when you see how much eating clean, good food will help your performance. So it's not only we're talking weight loss and stuff like this, it's when you actually feel like you're using the food more than, I eat because I gotta for survival, It's like I eat to fuel this process that I'm involved with, building my body, getting stronger. And oh, wow, I could tell now that I've been eating so good, I'm much stronger, I have much more energy, So it's a great thing. I think everyone should be lifting weights, but specifically as it relates to getting your diet mindset on point, it's going to be very, very helpful. And I think that's it. The last 2 points I kind of brought into don't let failure get to you. That's what I'm talking about. Accept not being perfect. Don't allow the failures to fleet away too much. And sometimes when you start sticking with that, remember that you can always turn back. You can always turn back, but that's what people think about. No, I took the first step. I need to fail all the way now, But so I'll quickly here at the end, so we make it kind of 20 minutes, I'll tell you kind of what my diet mindset process has looked like. So it started, when I started all of this, I basically I didn't know much. I knew about calories. I had counted at some point when I gone on some weight loss stuff before. But, I just knew that I ate a bunch of junk food and that I shouldn't, So I basically cut out all the pizza, kebab bullshit like this, replaced it with what I thought was healthy food, like rice, chicken, broccoli, basically, a bit of variety, but that kind of thing. So, not the worst food in the world, but really kind of nutrient weak, not very nutrient dense, yeah, I tried to stick to this, for the most part, and then I went on the keto when I wanted to lose weight, and so very similar, but I replaced the rice, rice or potatoes with like a bunch of vegetables, basically, with some protein source and some cheese and stuff. But I did use a lot of sauce in the beginning. I was bored with the tastes, And so it was difficult for me. I remember I had some slip-ups that I know I've talked about on the channel before. Like when we were celebrating a guy's birthday, all the guys ordering desserts, and no, none for me. But they ordered too much and they can't eat it all. I'm sitting there with this insane cheesecake and chocolate cake, and I couldn't help myself. So I ate it there, but I didn't let that escalate that night. Though that was that night, And so I did this more and more, and I remember the cravings got less, but I remember that still, like even almost a year into it, I had to fight it sometimes. And when I was walking in the food stores, I was like, Wow, am I really not all this tasty stuff? It's not for me anymore. Wow, oh, am I missing out? Blah blah blah, that kind of thing. But then it was when I got into the fasting is when everything was taken to the next level, you know. So I experiment with the fasting. I, by the way, fail a few 48-hour fasts. I don't fail my first 5-day fast, but some 48s. Also because no one knew about them, you know. That's the great thing with most of the fasts I do. They are mostly very public. So now I would obviously be able to go through with them anyway. They're not that difficult, but you know, I've always had that pressure, even when it was difficult, except a few 48s at the start there. But me doing these fasts and these experiments, I wanted to chain, like do 3 48s with eating just once in between and stuff. And, you know, it just became very natural that, of course, I'm not buying a bunch of junk food. That's something I should say to never have that fucking crap at home. Just don't. Just put yourself in a position when it's not so easy and available. Make it difficult for you to have a shit diet, you know. But yeah, so I did this cycle of fasting very much and refeeding on whole foods. And so it re-synthesized my taste buds. So all of these whole foods that tasted okay before started tasting amazing, because that's what happened to us. We are literally like a, you know, drug addict that become numb, and we need, you know, we can't even what we're supposed to get from a smaller dose, you know, we can't. We need to take the big dose, and small dose, big dose here is just whole foods contra hyper processed junk food in this scenario. But all of a sudden that started tasting amazing, and also, you know, I had learned my sensitivity to insulin and ghrelin, you know, the hunger responses there, is just, yeah, I'm not sensitive to hunger at all. I barely get hungry, and if I do, it's like a mild sensation. It's like, yeah, I should be. It would be nice to eat something, you know. It's not, oh, I have to, you know. And so since that point, since I reached that with the fasting, it was kind of after that I find the vertical diet start moving more towards that, and then gradually the like second half, the last 2 years of my own diet process, it's just been fine tuning the shit, you know. So that's basically it. I hope this is helpful to understand what the kind of process needs to look like when you go through your current shit lifestyle to actually just, you know, from a child to a grown up actually with your diet. So please, guys, like and comment. What did you think? Anything more around this you want me to elaborate on? Would you like to see the Solar Night diet video? You have to tell me, because you're not getting it otherwise. And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, mental health, stoicism, philosophy, all the kind of cool shit, guys. I will see you later. Peace.